Hello and welcome back everyone. Optic nerve is the second cranial nerve of the 12 cranial nerves, which is responsible for one's sense of vision. It is an entirely sensory and paired nerve composing of special cells known as the retinal ganglion cell axons and glial cells. You might be familiar with the term axon as it is a part of the neuron that is connected with the other neurons to conduct messages. Similarly, the glial cells are the supporting cells that take care of the nutrition of the neurons. There are few structures that collectively form a pathway enabling the transport of our sense of vision from the eyes all the way up to the brain. Let me explain this further in a little detail. As I explained earlier, the optic nerve consists of retinal ganglion cell axons and glial cells. These cells converge on the retina, forming a round spot known as the optic disc, which is a rounded structure connecting the retina with the optic nerve. The optic nerve is a bunch of neurons that leave the orbital cavity through the optic canal, going further posteriorly in the brain and combine with the optic nerve of the opposite side to form the optic chiasma. The optic chiasma is basically the part of the brain where the two optic nerves, the nerve of the right eye and the left eye, cross with each other. Emerging from the optic chiasma are bundles of nerve fibers known as the optic tract that continues further posteriorly through the brain and reaches what is known as the cerebral peduncle. The cerebral peduncle can be best understood as a part of the brain consisting of nerve fibers that connect the cerebrum to the other parts of the brain. So onto the optic tract, now some of its fibers pass on to the midbrain, which is a small part of the brain where they are involved with light reflexes. Meanwhile, the rest of its nerve fibers also terminate by synapsing with the nerve cells located in the lateral geniculate body. The lateral geniculate body is a small oval projecting from the thalamus. The thalamus is the relay center of the brain receiving all the incoming information. The nerve cells in the lateral geniculate body exit it to form a nerve pathway known as the optic radiation, which passes on from the lateral geniculate body to the primary visual cortex in the occipital lobe of the brain. It carries visual information via two divisions that are the upper and the lower division along each side of the cerebral hemisphere. So this was all about the structural aspect of the nerve. Now let's review the functional pathway known as the visual pathway of the optic nerve. As I explained earlier, the optic nerve is responsible for the sense of vision, enabling one to see. This mechanism involves several neurons forming a route known as the visual pathway. There are in total of 4 neurons that conduct the visual impulses from the eyes to the visual cortex of the brain. These 4 neurons are connected to one another in series. First, there are the rod and cone cells, which are specialized receptor neurons located in the retina. Their information is conveyed to the bipolar neurons, which are another group of neurons connecting the rod and cones to the ganglion cells. Ganglion cells are the third group of neurons which relay this information to the lateral geniculate body. And finally, there are the neurons of the lateral geniculate body which pass on to the visual cortex. This entire series of neurons, starting from the eye, going all the way up to the brain, is termed as the visual pathway. Concluding the optic nerve, lastly we have the visual reflexes. Visual reflexes are several unique but involuntary actions that occur in response to various stimuli via coordination of eyes and the brain. These reflexes include the accommodation reflex, the direct and consensual reflex, corneal reflex, visual body reflex, and the pupillary skin reflex. So this was a short brief overview on the optic nerve. I hope this video was helpful. I will meet you all next time in my next video. Till then, take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Stay safe and goodbye.